nations in EU4 based on, of course, their development at the start of the game. So that will be these 10 nations: Ming, England, Ottomans, Castile, Lithuania, the Indian nation, France, Mamluks, Aragon, and Jaunpur. So we'll just be going one by one, starting off in the debug mode and just making sure that each of these die, and then each nation is going to have a colonist that can only colonize provinces right next to them. So it's not going to just be filled up right away, but they will slowly start to make their way back to everything. So it will be really interesting, and it won't be like, oh, they immediately can take over all the land right next to them. It's more of like going to be a long-term thing. So it's not like Die Viet can just be like, oh, I'll take over all this land immediately. It's going to take a lot more time to do that. But now we can go for Aragon. And Castile. And England. Oh. And honestly, I'd say at this point, the strongest nation is probably going to be Venice or Austria or one of them in there, just because there really is, I guess England didn't get taken out before, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see who kind of comes out on top here, because I feel like a lot of these nations, while they are solidly strong, it's going to be weird to see if like Austria can really pull it off, or like, you know, some of these other nations that you wouldn't really expect to see pop off right away, but probably will pop off because of this new setup. And now we go for, I believe, the last two here. Vianjigar and Jaunpur, which I don't know. Okay, JNP. I don't think I missed anyone. Did I? I don't believe so. Let me look at the ledger. No, because Balmani's was the last one. All right. So now we will get this going. Speed 5, and let's just see where everything goes. Honestly, yeah, I guess Muscovy, Novgorod should pretty easily take this land, but it's going to take a lot of time for this land to fully be taken and developed, which means that some of the smaller nations here, like Crimea, which I guess, I mean, they could be losing their land immediately. So I wouldn't really say they're the greatest example of this, but I think some of these smaller nations could actually be doing a lot more solidly than we kind of all think. And we could actually have a winner here that is like Austria, or Austria could do really well. Even all these nations in, wow, Denmark just took over Middlesex. Is that where London's at? Yeah, so this is where London's at. 20 development for the Danes here. So that's pretty crazy for them. I mean, I think Denmark, again, is probably another one that could do extremely well, just because Denmark's in a really good spot. They have a bunch of good allies in a way. Oh my God, Novgorod is getting killed immediately by Muscovy, so that kind of sucks. But what I was saying is, like, Denmark has a lot of nations that they kind of already have control over, at the being something pretty cool. So I think good. They're already a pretty strong nation normally, so I don't know. But yeah, we also have out here Byzantium. Byzantium doesn't really have anyone to kind of stop them, so they could have just a nice little takeover of these lands. But I guess Venice could also just take them away. So pretty strong. They could take over some of Aragon's land that they used to have. And also, of course, anyone who takes over this land in Egypt could be strong as well. So all these nations potentially could get a little bit. And yeah, it'll also just take a long time for you wanting to take over for a while. So, but I guess it makes sense. I'm just surprised that Genoa doesn't have any land that, okay, no, they did take over this land over here. But there's got to be somewhere else that has some good development. But I mean, looking at Denmark really did probably get the best. Iberia. So it looks like Portugal really is just going to have an amazing time here. But I could see someone between Burgundy or one of these nations kind of popping out and being pretty solid. And then, yeah, of course, Poland looks pretty strong out here as well. Oh, we have a little battle going on between Byzantium. Venice really seems to be immediately having a pretty strong start, because I don't think there's any way Byzantium beats Venice. I mean, see what happens in this battle, because they are minus 14 at the moment. And while I do think they're much stronger than Byzantium, Byzantium just needs one winning battle. I don't know. Byzantium just needs one winning battle, and oh, white peace out here, and honestly be in a good spot. Yeah, Burgundy probably is going to reform France, but it's going to take them a while to do that. So I wouldn't be, that seriously expecting them to do that. I think they will have a much better time, and they actually could survive a lot longer than I thought. Because I was thinking they were one and done right here. Once Venice saw them, they're easily going to take over Constantinople. But now that they fought off Venice, and Venice honestly looks pretty terrible at the moment. They're losing to the Papal States position. And I feel like, I don't know. They're just in a really bad spot. So really, we could have a much stronger Genoa. We could have a strong Byzantium here. I mean, just everyone's taking a bite out of Bosnia. But okay, maybe Venice is doing. Oh no, they're doing terrible. I guess Venice itself, the Great Horde, is getting taken out by Muscovy. Muscovy looks just extremely strong. And looking at East Asia, so we do have Korea. It looks like Korea looks pretty strong. I mean, Dai Viet. Basically, no one's been able to take over this extra land here. And there is so much extra land over here. So people look solid. There seems to be a couple people that are taking over this South Asian land. But, I mean, these are just a bunch of tiny nations. But you do have Ayutthaya over here, which, I mean, Ayutthaya looks extremely strong as well. But yeah, Byzantium just looking great. Poland is in a little battle here against the Teutons, and it looks like they're fully going to take out. Okay. And we do see Burgundy has already formed France with not controlling France. And I don't know where they're to go for, but I guess they're not really in that much of a hurry. But right here, I mean, Denmark, honestly looking great. And if they can take over really, really strong, and Sweden, I feel like if they can just control Sweden and Norway and maybe, again, take some land over here, I feel like they could really do is just move out here a little bit, maybe move out here into this extra B, which could be a hard task. But I think as long as they stay more focused on Western Europe, like the Vikings were, instead of Eastern Europe, which, I mean, I guess the Vikings were also in East on raiding Western Europe. But if they really just take the Viking route and just focus on Western Europe, I think they can honestly be really strong. Their military isn't that strong. Scotland, are they colonizing anything? No, it doesn't look like it, unless I'm tripping. But because I feel like they could, but it could just be the thing where you have to be a nation with so much money to do the colonizing thing, like Genoa, or like basically they just have a one province here and basically gone. That's crazy. Venice, I was thinking, was an underrated pick to win it all, and they're just off the map almost immediately. We'll see if they do have like a long tour. I think this is the Papal State. The Papacy restore all of it. Oh, they had this colony over here, which is now taken over by Naples, taking some land. Byzantium, I guess, lost this to Bulgaria. I swear they owned this before, or maybe a junior partner. So now they're allies with Austria, and they're going to do whatever Austria says. So Austria is really in a great spot right now. I mean, they just look honestly great, because Hungary is huge. They're the strongest military over everything, and they don't want to leave. So Austria is in a great spot. I mean, so huge. And technically, with both of these guys having settlers, they can both expand their territory, which will just result in this, in general, being. We have Ducal Prussia as well. That's kind of crazy. I feel like I never see Prussia as a place in this game either. But yeah, Sweden could also technically take over some extra land, but I don't really think they like, Denmark the most at the moment. I think Norway kind of likes Denmark though. I mean, we'll see, but I think Denmark is honestly looking good at this point. We have, looking at development, it is Muscovy in first, Hungary, Balmanis, a lot of these Eastern Asian nations. And we also have QQ over here that, I mean, they don't really look that great. I'm just surprised that no one's gone out here, but I guess all the nations that could be colonizing, I guess Tunis might be, yeah. Okay, so Tunis is colonizing, but you do have to be, I guess, relatively wealthy to start colonizing in this game. So it's not like any old, I guess, state could just be doing it. It's not like Grenada's out here colonizing stuff. You have to be, yeah, I guess, kind of wealthy. So like you see Florence, they're, I guess, pretty wealthy, and the Papals are going pretty solidly into France. I guess they're kind of an underrated pick here as well. They look honestly very strong at the moment. And yeah, I mean, France looks good as well. Portugal, I think, will have a great time in the Americas because who's going to stop them? I mean, maybe France, but I think France has a lot more things to worry about in America. But also, I could see Portugal and these guys colonizing a lot more in Europe first instead of going out into the colonies. And they should be colonizing relatively soon enough so we can see if they can, I guess, take out a lot of these natives. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be extremely interesting to see how the colonization works here, because I would assume they'd probably want to colonize, again, Europe first, but it could go a lot of different ways because there is probably a lot more value in someone like Portugal going out and taking over all this land because there's really no one to stop them. And while you do have like nations like Scotland who could be colonizing, Denmark could be colonizing, France could be colonizing, Portugal has a lot easier way to colonize. I mean, even Morocco could also colonize. We'll see. I feel like it's pretty unlikely they will, just because, I don't know. I guess they have bigger things to deal with Portugal, but I don't really see any of these nations fighting, because a lot of times what happens when you take away some of the stronger nations is that the weaker ones just won't fight against each other. Like, why do Morocco and Portugal need to fight when there's no Spain there? Does Portugal really need to get that much stronger when there's no Spain? I don't know. I don't really think so in the grand scheme of things. But yeah, we're looking at it. And yeah, right now, Hungary looks amazing. Portugal honestly looks pretty good. And Poland, of course, I feel like they're extremely strong as well. So, and I mean, Muscovy is also beautiful. And I think Muscovy in Denmark had a little bit of a battle. Maybe, potentially. Okay, it doesn't look like Muscovy had a battle with them, but it looks like Sweden got away from Denmark. And that makes Denmark a lot weaker right now, because they still have this land here, but if they're losing Sweden, they're going to be a lot weaker. But it looks like Muscovy took a little chunk out of Sweden, because I swear this land was not Novgorod's, but I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm completely wrong and misinterpreting it. But yeah, Byzantium, I'd really like to see them expand. Hopefully they have enough money, but I feel like they do just have a lot worse things in this game to deal with. I mean, they have terrible prestige right now. It's going to be really hard for them to kind of start expanding when they have a lot bigger things to deal with. You also technically have a Crete out here, and Ethiopia, it looks like, is also expanding up north. Yeah, they are. So Ethiopia can honestly be a pretty strong one down here. Syria might be expanding down. Yeah, so Syria is as well. So I guess a lot of these nations are starting to expand with their settlers, but you just don't get, like, Kantar isn't going to be expanding because they're just like a little tiny guy. Well, wait, did they? I don't know if they initially had this land. Okay, maybe they are, maybe they aren't, but Austria really is taking a lot of land down here. I'm just surprised that Genoa isn't kind of moving in a lot better, because it just is kind of weird for Austria. I guess Austria does make sense because now they technically have Macedonia. But yeah, Poland and Hungary, it looks like, are going to be taking up the majority of this land here. I don't know. Yeah, I think Muscovy is also at the same time, but I don't really know how great the land in Eastern Europe is compared to the land in like Western Europe out here, where I think it's all pretty valuable. And Holland is also taking some land in England is a pretty important place to France. And also we have Pomerania. Pomerania is all the way out here, and they're colonizing down here. Crazy pick from them. But I mean, it is very interesting to see them do that. And I guess, but it's pretty interesting that they do have that. Okay, now Scotland's moving down. We also have Sweden moving to take the Isle of Man. Weird pick. I feel like there's a lot of just normal places on the English on the English Isles that you go for, the British Isles you go for, but I don't know how likely that would be. I guess Denmark, you really have to stick to England, because England, if you can take over England, but yeah, it looks, see, now we have Brabant over here. Does Brabant even have oh, they do barely have a port. Yeah, that's crazy. But I guess all of like Netherlands is starting to go out and colonize some places, which is honestly pretty cool. So you do have Austria and all these like actual strong nations, but you also have a lot of weird ones. It looks like Albania is invading Serbia, or yeah, I think there was something going on with Naples. Maybe, I don't know what was going on, honestly. Naples was involved in it somehow. But it looks like, yeah, Serbia is fully cooked. Montenegro is kind of, okay, so Serbia is a one province now, and Ragusa is honestly doing pretty solid as well. And yeah, Muscovy is just taking out all of these nations. Muscovy looks extremely strong. They technically only have the 5th biggest army, but I think once they form Russia, which is like a certain date where they need to form Russia, but once they form Russia, I feel like they have to be the strongest nation in the entire world. Now the Timurids are going down here, moves all the way up here. Korea taking over some land, and I guess some of these guys might be expanding, but I don't really know how the tribal system works out here and if they can really be expanding. Looking at India, it looks like Bahmanis. It looks like Ayutthaya went down here, but it doesn't really seem like there's that much expansion down here. It seems like, oh, Morocco. Okay, so Morocco is expanding all the way out into Egypt. So there could be a lot of pretty high development lands here. So it could be good time. QQ, I don't know why I don't even know how they do that. Okay, technically they have a port over here. So technically they can colonize this over here. Really weird one, but I guess it's technically right. And you have these guys are also taking a piece of land here, and Syria is over here. So here, but there's also just so many different nations with so many different small spots everywhere. And Holland, they have a ton of different spots over here. And yeah, this Poland versus Hungary matchup, I think Hungary is honestly still looking the best out of these two. Are they still 1 and 2 in armies? No. Okay, so Hungary really has fallen off in terms of their army. Austria still Florence is looking good as well. Brittany, it looks like, is also expanding just a little bit. Denmark did fully take over Norway already. I feel like that's pretty soon in terms of the game happening, but yeah, they're 6th in military, so I feel like they could really start to roll in world. It doesn't look like it. It really doesn't look like it. And I feel like it hasn't even taken over the Canary Islands. So it really looks like most of the initial expansion will be in Europe. So that to me makes me really excited, because instead of spending all their settlers on the new world, it'll all be colonization in the old world, which will make this even more hectic than it already is, because it is extremely hectic. And technically we also have all this extra land that's, I guess, part of the empire now, but I don't really know how that's going to affect anything. Building a colony, I don't know what's going on. I think these technically would be a part of the empire, but yeah, Scotland moving into England proper, or I guess that's Wales, Great Britain. They're starting in the papal here, because there's not really anyone that can really fight against them. I think France is all right now. I think Denmark's pretty strong. borders. So it's like, oh, if Muscovy fought against them, I feel like they'd have a hard time of beating Muscovy. Well, I guess not, because they don't have Sweden anymore. So it'd be just 2 areas that they could really... Yeah, I don't know. This is a very interesting shaped up game. And looking at the development, it is Muscovy #1, then Oirat over here. So I guess Oirat's taking over some of the land in China. And you have Ayutthaya, Denmark, Poland, Bahmanis, Hungary, Bengal, France. So I guess I'd say probably Austria's in a really good spot right now, but it could go a lot of different ways. And honestly, the fact that Poland really hasn't fought anyone and they still are in a really good spot, I think them allying with Sweden kind of stops any Muscovy expansion for a while, because Muscovy to attack both Sweden and Poland at the same time. Denmark, but Denmark doesn't look that strong. It'd be pretty unlikely that Muscovy would attack them. I think you'd go after. Yeah, Genoa honestly looks good down here. Byzantium is just still holding on to Constantinople, but yeah, I just think, yeah, Byzantium's just fully cooked. But I was rooting for them for a while. Morocco is just going great right now. Like Ethiopia looks, I mean, I guess technically they probably have some pretty bad, they're probably pretty behind because they're an African nation right now. I mean, you also have Portugal over, but I do think it'll be hard for them to like defend weird areas. But again, let's look at, no. Yeah, there's still no one in the Americas, which is weird, but okay, we do have someone taking over the Canary Islands. It's Gelray. I don't remember which one. Oh, I think it's these guys. This is Gelray, and they are taking over the Canary Islands. So they're going to be the first ones to go for the Americas. Maybe someone else will get there first. But the fact that it is over 30 years since when, I guess, Columbus did it in real life, and no one's tried to go for the Americas, just seemed a little weird to me. And also you have QQ and Syria fighting against each other. So whoever wins this battle will really take over a lot of the Near East right here. And yeah, QQ is kind of getting shit on. But yeah, France just seems so weird. Like they still have not taken Paris. I think this would be the first thing I do. I mean, of course, I don't live there, but yeah, Denmark's also not looking good at the moment. Utrecht is over here, Brabant, and of course Sweden. So there's just a lot going on in the British Isles. I mean, there's not really that much going on in Ireland, but you know, I could see Ireland popping up again. But yeah, I still think Denmark is in a solid spot. We also have a little battle here, and Muscovy is going for Crimea. So Muscovy could really be a player also in Turkey over here, in where the Ottoman Empire used to be. So that could be pretty interesting as well. I mean, it just seems like they're kind of rolling over everyone out here. I mean, I haven't seen them lose a single war so far, and they're just destroying Nogai right here. And yeah, Oirat also looks, I guess, solid. I mean, there really isn't that much colonizing going on out here. This is Brunei, I believe, and Malacca. So these guys are all the way in China right now. And Majapahit, I think they're also, where are these? Yeah, these guys are all the way down here. So it's all these Indonesian, I guess, Southeast Asian nations colonizing China. And these guys are Rochoni. I'm just surprised that none of the Japanese nations have kind of gone outside Japan and colonized any of this area. Weird. Also, you have the Khmer Rouge, is what they're called in real life. They're getting taken out by Ayutthaya. So yeah, I don't know. Bahmanis looking not great at the moment. Bengal, there's still also a lot of land kind of up for grabs here, at least in comparison. I guess there's not that much land up for grabs, and it looks like England is almost fully colonized. And I think, I would hope Portugal has more people to colonize with. I mean, I'd assume. I feel like they've been. Yeah. Okay. So they are colonizing at a much faster speed. They don't just have one. Wait. How do I? Yeah. I want to view as. Okay. So we can look at Portugal. They have 4 colonists. So they're all just colonizing in Europe. So I think, yeah, they will get really strong. Now, Florence has become Tuscany as well. So that is honestly pretty cool. I feel like they are in a solid spot. And I don't know. I just really wonder what's going to happen here because I feel like a lot of these nations haven't fought. Oh, and now we have Naples. Naples taking over Byzantium could be pretty cool. I feel like Naples is in a spot where they could kind of be strong by taking out some of these guys and just kind of asserting their dominance in the, I guess, South Mediterranean, especially if they could take over Tunis as well. I mean, but they'd also have to fight against like Genoa, who I feel like is also in a similar area because the Papal States are looking more Western Mediterranean. Austria is also kind of down here, but I think Naples and, okay, Naples is allied with the Papal State, so they're not going to have to do anything with that. I think they'd be solid in a fight against Austria at the moment, but I still think they'd lose. But yeah, they just have so much stuff over here, like Genoa, and then they have Anatolia over here, and then they have Genoa itself. And yeah, I don't know. France also seems like it's just going to slowly but surely become a strong nation. This is just a cluster of nations over here. We also have is this Gelray? Oh, Denmark. Okay, wait, we do have people in the New World now. And it's just Denmark. It really is just Denmark. Okay, Denmark will be the first nation to start colonizing the New World. Technically, you do have Portugal in Africa, but they are not in either of the Americas, I don't believe. Yeah, I don't think they are. And Denmark, honestly, it looks really good at the moment. I mean, they also just have this land in England. So I think they could, before they do that. They also have Gelray over here. They're trying to expand a little bit further, but it will be really hard for them, extremely strong right now. Oh, and Naples has officially formed 2 Sicilies. So, yeah, they look great. They're taking over a good amount of the Byzantium land, and whoever wants Constantinople can go. Might not be as valuable as it once was, because, I mean, a lot of the main development is right here, but still, Genoa is really the strong ones, and it's kind of interesting how all this has changed a lot based on like what's happened due to all the strong nations being destroyed. But we do have Denmark. We also have this little drive, because normally in a regular EU4 game, these guys are gone within the first 20 years max, and they're still doing really well right now. They have both Morocco and Tunis, who are relatively strong. Like, I don't know if they beat I don't know if Portugal could declare on Granada and fight. And I guess this is why Tlemcen has also survived as long, because they're allied with Portugal. So it's kind of like a weird fight between the 3 of them. They're all kind of in this Cold War standoffish thing. And finally, Paris is colonized by France. I mean, I think France is, yeah, Denmark has really moved in on it. We do have, I guess, a little bit of Portugal over here. But, I mean, it's 1549, and there's not really that much movement in the New World. And even in Africa, there's only really one. Yeah, there really is only one colonist over here, so that's pretty interesting. But Syria looks great. Persia was formed by someone, I guess the Timurids. So the Timurids did take over Persia, and they look pretty good. Bahmanis looks good. Yeah, and it's just so weird that China has... Ooh, we also have an Oirat versus Muscovy war, which these are, I guess, 2 of the stronger nations. I guess Oirat's really not that strong at the moment. They're just getting rolled over by Muscovy. And the fact that Muscovy wasn't even scared of them to attack an ally. I don't think I've even seen them fight against anyone this entire game. it seems like a lot of the fights just haven't been happening because everyone's been colonized. It will start being like, oh, let's get into a couple actual battles against each other and fight and destroy each other. But yeah, it also is interesting to see Savoy over here. They've got a nice chunk of land and they honestly seem to be in a pretty solid spot. I wonder if Scotland, I just think Scotland would be a great one to colonize up here as well, because you do have Portugal down here. They've got their little area, and they also have, they also are colonizing a little bit more, but it seems like the Danish aren't for anyone to do any colonization in the Americas if these guys are getting stomped on. And it looks like Portugal just could run over everything, like I was saying earlier. But we also have this little battle going on for Egypt between Ethiopia. They're coming all the way over here. And I guess Ragusa is from the north. So we have a little four corners divide between it. And they're all taking really weird approaches to get it. And yeah, it's just insane to see all the weird stuff that's been going on. Poland whopped. Wow. Poland was technically the strongest military in the entire game. Austria and Hungary. So they're combining to want to support Poland against like the second and fifth, these other allies. So there's a ton of people attacking them. It just feels bad because I don't think they have really any strong out. Strong, I don't really think is contributing the most to a fight. And it did seem like they did back out of being an ally to Poland. So that kind of sucks. Just going to start whopping them as well. As strong as Poland technically is with their second strongest army, they still look pretty good. And I think if they could just take out Byzantium over here, it could be pretty cool. But yeah, Austria just has so much land down here in Anatolia. So I think, I mean, Austria definitely seems to be in the best position right now, but it could be hard for them to kind of keep this up. Okay, I say that, and they attack Bohemia. So I guess they do have a lot of places to expand. They can in here into actual Germany would be pretty hard to expand into, and east would be, I would say honestly, extremely hard to expand into. So it kind of just depends on where they're pretty solid path. I think it'd be kind of hard for Austria to mess this up at this point. I mean, they're basically the strongest nation in the entire world with their two armies of Hungary and Austria themselves. But they do have, it doesn't happen. But yeah, it's just insane to me. Denmark, I don't know. Yeah, Arawak has. How has this happened to Denmark? Like genuinely, how is it take over all of Arawak's possessions? Probably. Yeah. Okay, I said it at the wrong time, but they were doing extremely poorly in America, and I think once they get this, they can start snowballing in the Americas, because it really is just between them and Portugal at the moment. Like they're okay, but I wouldn't say they're like a super strong power in Europe. So I feel like that's kind of the thing that France is going to be focusing on for a while, even though they will be colonizing as well. But I wonder who's going to be able to take out like the Inca and the Aztecs, because they seem relatively strong. I don't know. They've just taken so long to be taken out, because in real life they were, I think, gone like 50 years before this, like the 1520s. So the fact that they've survived this long means they probably will have a much better time fighting against any actual nations here. And Portugal, while I think they're pretty strong, I don't think is as strong as like a Castile or like Spain by this point would be coming in fighting against these guys. So I think maybe the Aztecs might have an okay time. I don't want to speak too early, because it could definitely go the other way. And it looks like Congo is expanding as well. And Mali, maybe? Okay, Mali is expanding as well. So some of these African nations are putting their expansion tools to the good use as well, which is actually kind of cool. I actually do like the fact that they can expand with having like this mod attached a lot earlier, because I think the fact that you could have like a huge nation as Kilwa, and you can't just colonize into like a province right here. Is a little weird to me in the base game, but like I do understand it because it needs to be historically accurate. But yeah, wow, 2 Sicilies looks good, but Austria has fully taken over Constantinople. And I mean, look at Austria. Just like pretend that Hungary is part of Austria right now. That's a lot of land that they're looking good at. And I mean, same thing with Muscovy, which now just turned into Russia. So like they also look just beautiful at the moment. It really is, I'd say right now, a 2-horse game between Austria and Russia. And the 2-horse game could turn into like a 3-4-horse game, depending on what happens with Portugal, France, and Denmark, who I feel like are the next 3 candidates up. You could also say there are some solid candidates out here in Asia, but I think just the Western nations are just going to start to roll over the Eastern nations when they do finally start attacking them. Especially Austria, because I think they could easily go and attack Syria down here. Because Syria does look solid, but they do have, I don't know, they don't look that solid. But it depends on if someone can unite like Syria and Ethiopia. I could see them becoming kind of a more power player to fight against the Austrians. But it does look like Genoa versus Austria. And Genoa, oh, wow. Austria is just going crazy. And they're purging heresy at the moment because they're Catholic. It does look like the Reformation's going on. And a lot of Protestants, the Catholics really look kind of outnumbered at this point just because there's a lot of breakup. But I guess the strongest nations in France, Portugal, Austria, and Poland are all Catholic. So it's like, well, technically there's more Protestants. The strongest nations are all Catholic. So that could still change in the long run, though. I mean, I guess Denmark is probably right around like 6th strongest nation. But I think France is probably stronger than them, and definitely Portugal. I think Portugal's in a great position right now. I think if they could just consolidate a little bit more over Iberia instead of fully focusing on the New World, it could help them a bit. But I mean, honestly, gain the riches out of the New World is also probably a good idea for them as well. Ayutthaya, whoa, they look beautiful right now. They have some land in India. They have a lot of land in Southeast Asia, and they're probably one of the strongest nations right now. Looking at development, Russia, Ayutthaya second, Persia third. Okay, Persia looking really strong. France, Austria, but I mean Austria, you can add Austria and Hungary, so they're probably very similar to Russia at the moment. I'd say they're probably equal. And then you have like these nations, Persia, Ayutthaya, and then everyone else. But you also just have, oh my God, Austria is just destroying these people in Anatolia. Karaman is getting destroyed. And now Syria versus Persia, outing Persia a little bit more than I should have. Ottomans here. And the fact that there is no Ottomans makes it a lot easier for Persia to eventually get, like, solidify a solid thing here. I mean, Persia looks extremely strong at the moment. They look to be in a great position, and just Austria has just steamrolled some of their allies. And if they can really just keep dominating Hungary like they have been, but they are really seeming to be the strongest nation in the entire world at the moment. I mean, I think it's them or Russia. And while Russia looks great, I think Austria has a lot more ability to expand to, I guess, greater pastures, where it's like, yeah, they can expand down here. Russia can expand out here, maybe a little bit in, but I think Austria definitely has the more valuable land to expand into. And now they have Constantinople. They could start getting a lot of trade through here as well. But I guess, yeah, the trade value is pretty terrible. It seems like everyone is going to Genoa as well. But yeah, Genoa, they've lost a lot of land here. So I guess just the early stomping of Venice, and of course like lose, and that's actually very interesting in this game to see. I guess everyone's just kind of fine with just Ragusa, but I guess they're allied to Austria, and it's like, oh, no. and Granada and Portugal. And yeah, Portugal, okay. This is kind of what I was saying. Yeah, and they look to be in a great position at the moment. They also have all the Papal's men. So the Papal State has the 4th strongest military. Portugal probably has the 3rd strongest. And they're going against Morocco and Tunis, who are kind of some pushovers at the moment. And they have all... Okay. And now, yeah, Two Sicilies is going dogpiling. So it looks like Two Sicilies will be expanding down to the lower Mediterranean, into Tunisia, into Algeria. I guess maybe a little bit of Algeria, but probably also some Libya as well. We'll see. Tlemcen looks like they will be expanding a lot as well, because they are an ally of Portugal's. So it looks like they'll probably get a ton of the land here. I mean, of course, Portugal's going to get a lot as well, but I think the majority is going to go to Tlemcen. Honestly, not the greatest peace deal. Portugal does look Two Sicilies at the same time. They're getting destroyed, but Tunis is kind of holding their own against Two Sicilies because... And yeah, I don't know. This battle is kind of seeming to be pretty anticlimactic. Yeah. I guess Two Sicilies really isn't the strong while. Is this the thing they're trying to take? No, they're trying to take Sfax. Oh, this one right here, Sfax. So now they're in a better spot, I guess. Yeah, they just need to win some battles. And I'm sure they'll take over a nice chunk down here and put them in a much better position. Morocco, honestly, still looks fine. France looks pretty good. I'm surprised there hasn't been that many battles. I don't think I've even seen any battles in England right now. But I guess Denmark's probably the strongest one here. And I don't think Brabant and Sweden are really going to attack each other for just a small piece of land out there. I mean, maybe they would, but they seem to be pretty evenly matched. And they'd also have to bring their armies from wherever they're at all the way over here just to fight against each other. So it could be kind of weird. Yeah. Let's take a look back at America, because I feel like there's not much going on in Europe at the moment. And I mean, yeah, I think France is honestly looking pretty amazing. They seem to have a kind of good motion in here where you have the Florida. They could take over a lot of this American land, and then you have Gelre down here in Denmark. So you have a lot of competitors for this United States of American land. And honestly, Portugal, I guess they've been going for Brazil and down here, but I would have gone for the Aztecs maybe first, just because Denmark is kind of, I don't know. Denmark and Portugal will definitely have some battles to fight against each other pretty soon, just because I think a lot of their colonies will come into conflict with each other. And look, Hejaz just got destroyed, but it looks like Syria is really just getting packed up by Persia right now. They have a lot of people that are dying. And Dulkadir. So Austria is really just using the fact that they're Catholic to destroy a lot of these nations right by them that are extremely weak. And kind of the same thing with Persia. They honestly look amazing right now. They look pretty strong. And I think as long as Austria doesn't fight, they will be kind of in a great spot. And I mean, they just look really good right now. But yeah, Ethiopia honestly looks solid as well. We also have the Papal State over here. And yeah, even though the Papal State technically looks good in terms of what they're doing, I think it'll be hard for them to expand from here because they just have really weird areas where they have land. I guess they kind of have to take out Tuscany, but does Tuscany have any strong allies? Not really. But I guess they are. Whoa. I didn't realize Tuscany was technically the 6th strongest military right now and 5th strongest diplomat. I mean, they're honestly really good in racking up the score. But France does have a lot of stuff in the New World. Let's look at Denmark. Denmark. Okay. Denmark's looking solid as well. Austria, the Austrian/Hungarian alliance to go against Russia, because it will be extremely interesting to see who comes out on top. I think it probably will be Austria. I mean, Austria seems to be, it's Russia. Like in almost all of these games, they just start to dominate people. And the fact that they still have a lot of room to grow, well, I think Austria, it could be kind of tight, but Tunis and Morocco finally ended their alliance, and it looks like Morocco is kind of just like Morocco, even like Tlemcen maybe, but I think it's pretty likely that Two Sicilies will, but I guess Savoy is friends with Tunis. I don't know why that's kind of a weird setup between the two of them, but I mean, if they want it to happen like that. Looking at the Americas again, I don't know. There's just so much going on here. We have so many weird nations. Scottish Colombia. We have Rio de Prata. Portuguese Brazil. I mean, Danish Brazil looks pretty solid. Danish Colombia looks solid as well. And now you have like Galway down here. You have Genoa somehow in the Americas. Utrecht in the Americas. You have the Papal State in the Americas. You have French Canada over here. You have Lubeck somehow in the Americas as well. Like, just the most random nations are in the Americas, and they're all fighting over the eastern seaboard of the United States. So it's going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top here on the eastern seaboard, because there are like 10 different nations all competing over this land. And now we have Tuscan Mexico. We have Tuscany going in Mexico, and it looks like Tuscan Mexico might take out the Aztecs. That would be insane, bonkers, whatever you want to call it. It's just crazy. 80% down. I think the Aztecs will get conquered by Tuscany. You would never hear that in any other world except for this world. But Holland also honestly looking pretty good as well. Tuscan Mexico didn't really take as much as I would have thought. You also just have all these weird, there's just so much weird stuff going on. Brittany is somehow technically down here as well. There's just so many nations in the New World, and this is genuinely so fun to see. I love what's going on right now. Yeah, Utrechtian Virginia, the Papal State. You're gonna have a Papal State colony in the United States. That is beautiful to see. You have New Denmark over here, which looks pretty good. Lubeckian Canada. Savoy is also over here, fighting over the same scraps that everyone else is fighting over. And looking back at Europe, I mean, just everyone is taking a piece of Morocco. Everyone is taking a piece of Tunisia. I mean, just look at this. This is just disgusting border war going on down here. It just looks disgusting. And technically, Morocco is taking out Ragusa over here, but they're getting absolutely destroyed in their own homeland. So, yeah, I don't know how likely that is, but I guess they didn't lose any land over here. Syria looks okay, but okay. Russia is going down here, and it looks like the Russia versus Persia conflict will be pretty soon, because Persia is going after Transoxiana, and Russia is also in this area. So it will be like Kazakhstan, which Russia and Persia fight over. And I'm assuming there has to be a battle here soon between probably Poland and Austria. I mean, I don't know how likely that is, but yeah, probably something over here. Probably also Russia versus Poland. I mean, Poland has not gotten any stronger. They still seem to be extremely weak, just like in real life. In between everyone, they're always surrounded by a bunch of enemies. And while they are like a strong nation on paper, wow, they're the fourth strongest. It's just, again, it's like real life. Poland is just surrounded by too many enemies to survive and become like a real great nation, which sucks to see. Because I honestly love Poland and EU4, and I'm always rooting for these guys. Poland and Lithuania, just my underdogs all the time, but it does not look like they're going to be doing well. And Tlemcen is just looking, honestly, they look pretty good. I have never seen them ever be good in this game except for today, and they look beautiful. We also have Morocco. Honestly, they're getting pretty destroyed right now by Two Sicilies, and this was kind of what I was saying. Like, I was expecting Two Sicilies to be a little bit stronger down here, but they honestly haven't really done that well. And now we have Syria getting taken out by Aden. So Syria used to be a pretty strong power, and they just look terrible right now. Delhi versus Bengal. That's a nice war in India. I mean, India's really starting to blob up between these nations. And you also have China. So you've got Manchu looking pretty strong at the moment. You've got Majapahit and Brunei and Korea all looking good as well. Japan is stretching extremely long. This is just, I love this Japan right here. It's stretching all the way from Taiwan up to Kamchatka, I think it's called in Russia. And looking down here, it's kind of funny because Majapahit has just had to move up here because they've been destroyed in Indonesia. A little bit of France down here at the bottom. Kilwa looks pretty strong. Of course, Ethiopia looks good, but I think it'll be kind of hard, similar to like the Aztecs, for them to really be a strong nation in the long term. It really is going to be either the European nations or these Asian nations down here, because they've all kind of blobbed up a lot better than like Kilwa or Ethiopia has at the moment. But yeah, Kilwa, they look solid. They're probably in a better position than Ethiopia just because Ethiopia is right on. We also look up here, and I don't know. There really isn't much going on in Europe at the moment. I feel like it's just all the European nations inflicting their force on everyone else, which, I mean, kind of sucks to see. But I wish we could have some cool underdog stories. But I mean, in a sense, Denmark and Portugal are kind of underdog stories in the regular game. I mean, Austria, not really. And Russia is definitely not really. But they're definitely not like, I mean, at least I'd say with Austria, it's like you get one every 3 games where Austria's extremely strong. Russia is pretty often extremely strong. But yeah, this is just so funny to see. You've got Tuscan Mexico, you've got Sicilian Louisiana, you've got Holland over here, you got New Denmark, Genoese Florida, you got New Galway, New Denmark, Bremen over here, Florida, the Papal State. That doesn't even make sense at all. Utrecht over here, the Papal State, and then of course a lot of France as well. This is just honestly beautiful to see. I just love all these different nations getting down and being able to colonize. But because like I'd just rather it not be all, oh, Castile is taking over everything, or all, oh, you know, France is taking over everything, or Portugal is taking over everything. And while Portugal does have a pretty strong presence in the New World, they definitely aren't the only power here. And I think they probably are the strongest one here, but there's so many other nations, especially competing for America, that I don't really think that it matters that they're still the strongest nation in the New World, because there's so many other nations that are competing with them. But it looks like they're finally going for the Inca now, which is kind of nice. I mean, I kind of just want to see the Inca and Aztec gone so we can really see a competition between all the European nations. But you'll take what you can get. And Hadjaran, these guys are a Somalian nation. They've conquered all the way in here, I think. Or maybe they've just settled it. But Uganda has 22 development. That's insane. It's just somehow extremely developed down here. I think it's because these are all like one province miners, so they're way more likely to get developed. I mean, there's a lot of development, of course, in where like Edinburgh. I think it is. So I guess that's technically normal. There's not really any crazy spots. I mean, some of Persia is pretty developed. Definitely some of China is developed, but China, I think, started with this development. Maybe not. Maybe some of it's just 200 years since this game started. We have a beautiful Tuscan Mexico. We have Tuscan Mexico now getting taken out. But I mean, in Europe, we have, but I don't know how much longer Tuscany is really going to last. We have two Sicilies, who's okay at this point. The Papal State, who's kind of similarly okay. You have the dominant powers in Austria, in Russia. That's kind of it. And you just have, I guess, I don't know, they seem okay. Denmark, similarly okay. Poland is like probably stronger than like Denmark or France, but they're going to get eaten by someone around here. They're just in a terrible spot. And you also have like Persia, who honestly looks amazing right now, but I think they're on top here because I think Persia might be stronger right now, but I think Russia in general is probably going to come out on top here. I just hope that I'd rather Persia be as strong as possible. And because I don't think Austria is going to attack Russia anytime soon. It kind of depends on how long they'll take. Because I just doubt that there's any way that Austria wants to attack Poland and fight against Persia, or Russia attacking Poland and fighting against Persia. That seems not like suicide yet, but it seems like it'd be pretty tough for one of them to four. I mean, Portugal looks honestly pretty great at this moment, looking solid. New Gelre is just so funny to me. And the Tuscans are going after the Aztecs right now. But it looks like the Aztecs maybe have the upper hand. No, they don't. Yeah, looking at the battle on the ground, they definitely do not. They do have this 31k stack here, but I think if these guys attack them, yeah, they got destroyed. So I think the Aztecs will be gone pretty soon. We do kind of have some battles here between Scottish Columbia and Kiribati, which I don't even know how that, like, Scottish Columbia does not make sense in any sense of the word, but you know, W, honestly. And you have just all these weird nations over here. Dutch Mexico, Dutch Arkansas, two Sicilies. Yeah, it's actual cluster over here. And it looks like Pomerania is finally getting kicked out, which honestly is good. I don't even understand how they're not even alive. Okay, they are technically alive in France, but I don't know how much longer they'll be lasting. I feel like a lot of these smaller nations, there's really no reason to keep them around. I'm just kind of surprised that these areas, Toulouse and these areas over here, still haven't been colonized even after all these years. I mean, I feel like it'd be just such an, I feel like these are all solid things, and you know, the farmlands would be great as well. Like, also Chester could just claim this and take it as theirs, but I guess there might be something wrong with it. But yeah, Tlemcen is just insanely powerful. So two Sicilies. Oh my god. I think they had to release Crete. Wait, maybe not Crete. I swear Crete was its own thing for a while. Extremely strong Muslim nation in North Africa. And looking at the religion map, it isn't all that crazy. I mean, you do have some, I think Catholicism seems to be pretty prevalent in the world. I mean, at least in terms of a lot of the strong nations. Of course, you have Orthodoxy in, they're all Sunni. But yeah, this is extreme, and Bengal has kind of got whipped around a little bit. Ayutthaya looking solid. Bomani's looking solid. Delhi looking honestly really good, but I think Persia on their border could make it a little bit tougher for them to continue the hype train. We have a couple little battles here in Europe, but I feel like, yeah, Europe has kind of become a lot less interesting as these nations haven't really fought against each other. I feel like North Africa has become really cool with Tlemcen just really developing. I guess Ragusa has kind of taken over all of Morocco's land here, so they just randomly have a colony in all of Egypt. Like, that's just so funny to me. And I guess they have a lot of score as well, so that's kind of cool. They have 3x as much as two Sicilies. They have close to like as much as like Hungary, which is like a pretty strong nation. Yeah, Persia is really weird to me because, yeah, technically right now it says they're the strongest military nation. But I just don't know how much I actually see that as the truth. But I mean, maybe they are right. And looking at institutions, okay, I guess, yeah, Persia is all up to date. Russia might be a little bit behind, but it seems like kind of everyone is fully caught up on institutions except for the Far East over here. So, whoa, Malacca is taking over Ayutthaya. That's just insane right now. Damn. Yeah, Ayutthaya, I feel like was a really strong nation for a while. And now Malacca seems to also be strong as well. They didn't really take that much though. I mean, Malacca also has seemingly their own problems to deal with, but I feel like they didn't take as much land. Maybe they just had a lot of these guys released. But yeah, very interesting. Manchu, I guess they're really not as strong as I thought. Korea, I guess just all these nations, they kind of are just eating each other instead of like really blobbing into one big nation. I mean, Ayutthaya was, in my opinion, one of the strongest nations down here. And now I feel like it doesn't really look the same way. And also, I guess Milan has looked pretty good up here in northern Italy. It really just doesn't seem like there's much going on up here, though. We also have Sweden against Brabant. Pretty interesting. New Gelre. Oh, we have some interesting ones. The New Papal State. I just love the name of that. New the Papal State. Like, that's just a beautiful name. And the fact that that's a real thing is just, I don't know. I just love the fact that there's a nation called the New Papal State. And we have New Bremen, who honestly looks pretty solid as well. They are a colony of Bremen over here, which is extremely tiny. And honestly, pretty lame in the whole sense of the European word. But I guess they have 24k manpower. But looking at just all of North America, you've got Sweden over here. You've got the Danish over here, Tuscany over here. So you have, I'd say, like the main colonial powers between Tuscany, Denmark, and Portugal taking the western half of the continent, while just kind of all of America is just a cluster between all these different weird nations and all these like random, like one province European nations. So it will be interesting to kind of see what goes on in the time frame. Yeah, I guess the New Papal State is doing okay. I mean, I guess they survived. You have French Canada, Swedish Hudson Bay, Breton Canada, Lubeckian Canada as well. There's just so many different ones. Oh, Vinland. Okay. So these guys have finally gotten some stuff going. But yeah, I don't know. It's just so weird because it seems like all of them have kind of cannibalized each other, where New Bremen probably looks the strongest, but you also have like the New Papal State, probably similar. New Denmark, probably also similar. And then like Florida. Is that how you'd pronounce that? I don't know. I don't really care either, because I hope they're not going to last that much longer. I hope there's someone out of these four nations that really just takes over everyone. And Genoa is getting taken over by the Papal State out here, so they're probably also getting taken over. Yeah. And also it looks like Kildare and Tyrconnell. Seems like these guys are kind of uniting the island of Ireland. So that's kind of cool. It just seems like nothing's going on in Europe, though. We do have Verona getting taken over by the Papal State. And just, I mean, it seems like there's some fun stuff going on. Poland, yeah. I actually really like what Poland has done. I mean, just linking up with Persia is probably a pretty good idea. Persia is just looking amazing at this point. I mean, just the size of their nation being extremely big, and at the same time being in like a pretty solid spot where they're not fighting against a lot of people. Like Russia is probably a big neighbor of theirs. I mean, these guys, Dolkadir, which honestly could be a fight for Persia soon. But I feel like they have a lot of places to expand against weaker allies, which is probably a lot harder for Russia to do. Never mind. I just realized Russia was all the way in China. So looking at development right now, yeah, Russia is far and away ahead first, but if you had Austria plus Hungary, it's probably pretty similar to them. Say, Ayutthaya, yeah, they also look. I just don't understand how they just got destroyed by Malacca in that fight when they're clearly, I feel like, the stronger nation. Like, they look good. They have all this extra land over here. You also have all these like random nations in Africa. The other thing is about this game, there hasn't really been that much African colonization. Like in a normal game, you'd see like England just gobbling up land here, or France doing that. And then you have someone gobbling up land down here, which, I mean, I guess is still happening. You have a little bit of land here, a little bit of land here, and down here, but not as much colonization as you'd normally see out here. And I mean, I guess it's the same thing over here by 1688. Even in real life, there was so much more land that was taken over here. And yeah, you also have Scotland, Scottish, Mexico. I guess there's also kind of a cluster over here where you have Flanders, Brittany, Denmark, Scotland, Tuscany, Portugal. Like, there are just so many nations in the New World that are all competing over scraps of land. It doesn't really make sense to me, but I guess there's just so many nations that are in the empire, the Holy Roman Empire, that it kind of makes sense in like a weird roundabout way. And you also have this land finally gets colonized by Brabant. And I think, yeah, honestly, Brabant looks pretty solid for like a tiny little nation just coming up, trying to do their thing. Austria finally has taken over like all of Bohemia. I just want to see some battles down here. Like, wow, Tlemcen is just reaching all the way into Africa. Oh, never mind. That's Portugal. I guess Tlemcen is still taking... Tlemcen is going against Mali as well right now. So it seems like Portugal really has taken over this spot as like clearly like the third nation right now. Just because they look... We have a lot of South America, some of the Caribbean, a little bit here, and like a lot over here. So I don't know. You also have an actual Hawaii as a nation, so that's pretty cool. And looking at Australia, which normally we wouldn't be talking about, but you have, what is Tidorian Australia? Who is over here and they established a colony? Honestly, shout out. Shout out to them. There's also these guys who are establishing some colonies down here. I guess similarly to America, there's like 4 or 5 different nations that are all colonizing down here, but it looks like in New Zealand, there's seemingly just the native people are doing pretty solidly in comparison. Manchu. Okay, yeah. Now Manchu is going against Russia. Russia is just stretched to the max. Like, it is insane how stretched they are out. But, I mean, I guess if that works for them, it works for them. But I just think it might be tough because imagine right now, Persia attacks you. I thought Persia, I was like, why is Persia attacking Manchu? Now you have some Austrian revolts over here. Yeah, there's just so much going on. And yeah, I just think the fact that Russia is so long and they're fighting these wars in Manchu, it's like of course I'm not going to go in and affect this game, but imagine if I'm Persia, they could just run in right now, especially when there's all these Russian guys here revolting. If they were just a little bit earlier when all those troops were in Manchu, it'd be so easy to just storm in and take so much land. And since they're actually win it, if they could just storm in and take a bunch of land to begin with. And yeah, I don't know. I feel like Persia hasn't really gone on that many attacks. Maybe they've gone more into India because I really haven't been paying the most attention to them. And I guess Ayutthaya has officially formed Siam, and Malacca formed Srivijaya. Yep, that's exactly how you pronounce it. And Bornu, I think this was also formed by someone else. I don't know who formed this, but I don't think Bornu was in the game, or they're really small and they just have exploded right now. But I'd say right now, I mean, it's just kind of sad how poorly France has done, because I feel like they could just smack on, like, a lot of these guys just have actual solid allies, and since France isn't the strongest themselves, it's kind of tough. Defend, not even close. I also forgot that Poland was their ally, so that makes a lot more sense, and it makes sense why Russia is getting steamrolled right now. They also just lost that battle where they had like 50,000 to 30,000 people, so I think Russia might be cooked. I'm not going to say it yet because I think they can still pull it out, but the fact that these Persians are just steamrolling them right now in just an insane way. And yeah, I mean, holy, it's just embarrassing. This is one of the strongest nations in the entire world before this, and they were just out, and it's not even close right now. Like, this is embarrassing, honestly. Like, the fact that Persia is bringing in their men to take out Chinese Russia is just insane to me. And I think, like, relatively, at least some people, I think Poland took a good amount as well. I guess I was hating on Poland a lot earlier, but they honestly don't seem to be in the worst position anymore. Russia now doesn't feel good. And Denmark tries to seize the opportunity. Can Denmark... Okay, Denmark's also allied with Austria, so Denmark actually is in a pretty good spot. And Utrecht, it'll be interesting to watch nonetheless. Yeah, I think instead, peace, I'm out. I'm surprised that... Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was kind of surprised that Sweden hasn't been attacked earlier, since it seemed like the fact that Denmark could just attack Russia like that showed that they're pretty strong. But I guess Poland is also a pretty formidable ally for Sweden. That's kind of what's keeping them around. But Denmark, if you're wanting to snipe off Poland right now, it could be a solid idea to just snipe them by attacking Sweden, getting Poland to defend them. But looking at it, yeah, Portugal honestly looks great at the moment. And Tuscan Mexico is crazy, because Tuscany, I think just Tuscany and the Papal State kind of just destroyed each other in a way, because they're really not the strongest. But if someone, I mean, even two Sicilies, it's like you have three kind of strong nations down here, and they all kind of just ate each other's lunch because they're all with each other. And it's like Portugal got the ability to take over a lot more land in one area. And Russia is getting attacked by Dolkadir, but they also went revolutionary. So now, bro, they're just going to be... this is just disgusting. It's so sad, but I think genuinely Russia could pull off the victory here. Dolkadir doesn't seem as strong, and Russia does have 122,000 men right now, compared to Dolkadir's only 90,000 at the moment. So I could honestly see Russia pulling this off. The fact that Russia was so... Okay, I guess they're not revolutionary anymore. They revolted, they became revolutionary, and now they're not revolutionary. And I don't think they'll be beating Dolkadir. They'll at least lose some land, but it seems like Russia is finally coming around and maybe being solid. I don't know. The fact that they just got steamrolled 3 times by 3 different nations that went from, strong, like one of the strongest nations in the world with Persia, to like, okay, Denmark is still up there, It's not like Persia, where Persia is like one of the top 3 with you guys, but it's still like top 10 easily. And then Dulkadir is like, you know, maybe like 15. So they're still strong. I'm not going to diss on Dulkadir. But the fact that Dulkadir is destroying Russia in a fight right now shows how far Russia has fallen in even just like 20 years. Like 20 years ago, they were honestly as strong as maybe Austria. But now, like, I would not say Russia is even in the same ballpark as Austria. They're not even in the same ballpark as, like, they're probably in the same ballpark as France. I was going to say they're not in the same ballpark as France, but they definitely are. I'd say right now, Austria is probably number 2. They're still extremely strong, but I think Persia has fully overtaken them as the strongest power in the world. Yeah. Then I'd go with Austria. Then I'd probably say Portugal. Then probably Poland, Denmark, everyone else. You also have a revolutionary France. I'm not gonna lie, this flag is just so beautiful. But yeah, France is like small. They're like a small timer. So I don't really think it matters. And is this another? So Persia's taking even. This is just disgusting. It took so long for Russia to get out of these wars that they're just going to be constantly eaten by other people. I mean, by the time, by the time they get done with this war against Dulkadir, where they lost a lot of land, they'll probably have another battle with the Danish. Okay, never mind, because the Danish are fighting against what? Portuguese Brazil? How is this even working? They're not even fighting each other out here. And yeah, the Portuguese are kind of destroying them, kind of destroying the Danish. New Bremen is just such a weird one. Like, how does Bremen have a colony this big? It looks like the Papal State is kind of getting eaten up. Breton, Canada, honestly looks solid. You have Lubeckian Canada. You have all these Scottish ones out here looking okay. You got the Papal State. I don't know. Russia had an absolutely huge fall off. I mean, look how bad they look. Like, is Poland... Like, these guys are attacking all the way over here. They're attacking. I mean, I guess they're the 4th ranked army, so maybe they're a little eaten by every single person around them. And it's honestly extremely embarrassing that that this happened to them. Like, it kind of sucks that Russia is just getting destroyed like this. And I think it'll just continue to happen because are these guys... Okay, I guess they stopped their war against Russia, but like, look at this. This is a disgusting border war nation that probably is still going to be... Yeah, okay. Now Manchu attacked them. Manchu, the one that they destroyed easily, like 35 years ago. Now they're getting attacked by Manchu, who's a tiny little nation, against them. Like, I don't know. This is just genuinely embarrassing to see from Russia because I thought they would be up there with Austria. And I honestly, shout out Dulkadir. These guys have really exceeded my expectations. And the fact that I don't even know what nation, this single nation, is getting a piece of Russia. Honestly, Denmark, go attack them. Poland, go attack them. It's free real estate, honestly. It literally is free real estate, free land. Anything you can get, you might as well take it. Even like Ryazan. Okay, I don't know if I've ever seen in all my hours of playing this game any nation blow up like this quickly. Embarrassing. Genuinely embarrassing. One war against Persia 35 years ago. 1700s. Bang. Everyone else attacks them. And they, like, I don't even know how to explain it. This has actually been stupefying me how a nation could have this bad of a collapse. I mean, again, they did have a lot of neighbors on their edge, but it's like, it's just insane. But I'd say right now, yeah, probably Portugal is the strongest nation in the world. They have just so much stuff. Like all throughout here. You have down here. I think while I was focused on Russia collapsing, I mean, Portugal really has just slipped and taken all this land in Africa. They've probably have a lot of land other places, and they definitely have a lot of stuff in the Americas. So maybe them in Persia, but I feel like honestly Persia doesn't seem the strongest just because I feel like they haven't expanded in so long. Like maybe they could have taken out India, maybe they could have done all these other things, but I will say just shout out Russia because they had the worst collapse I've ever seen. And I think, like, bro, now they're going against Japan just to lose a little bit more land over here. Like, they had to give up Oirat, Yarkand. And I genuinely don't think Russia will survive this entire time. I mean, maybe they will in like a little small pocket, but they're just getting eaten by everyone. And now Austria is attacking Kazan is crazy. I guess they're going against Crimea as the main baddies here. But I feel like Austria has kind of similarly to Persia. They've just kind of stagnated. I guess they have a little bit more land. They've kind of been centralizing the HRE over here, but I don't know. I'm not really feeling. I mean, Hungary, look at the score, bro. They have 4,200 and they have 2,500. So it's not even close by, I mean, they're up by a large margin. Somehow is winning this war against Japan, but I guess Japan technically has to take over Moscow. So Japan needs to go all the way over here. I believe this is Moscow. Okay, and now, yeah, I don't think Russia's surviving. This has just been, again, stupefying how you take away the Turkish and the Lithuanians, which I guess the Lithuanians might have hurt Russia because normally they just gobble up on the Lithuanians and the Polish. And this like allowed the Polish and the Lithuanians to kind of have, like the Polish and the Hungarians to have like a little bit more free time before they really fought against them. But like, bro, genuinely embarrassing. Like they're fighting against just random nations all the way out here. And like Japan is now starting to beat up on people. France is getting taken over by the Papal State. Like Scotland in France, it looks like fully eaten by whoever. And I think they could be picked apart, but I guess there really isn't that many other nations that could attack them. Like maybe Austria as well. Like, I don't know how strong like Brabant or, I mean, I guess everyone around them could also just start picking apart France after this, but France wasn't really the same as Russia, where Russia was really a strong nation for the majority of the game, and now they're just mega collapsing. Like, not a collapse, but I feel like they definitely, once they lost the battle against Portugal, I mean, they lost a lot of the land in the New World. Was not paying attention at all. But Tuscan Mexico is now just Mexico, and they honestly have to be pretty strong themselves. No, I guess not. For every single nation in the world, I mean, they're going against Mexico, and shout out Mexico. They're putting in hard work, but it's not looking good for them at all. And now, yeah, Scotland is now Denmark and Utrecht. I don't know how you actually say that, but we'll go with that. And now we also have Austria. I guess I forgot that Austria and Denmark are allied. I mean, Austria still say Poland is definitely weaker than them. I'd say like Poland is now way more comparable to Austria than they had been for the majority of the game. I think, again, still Portugal, just far and away right now, the strongest nation. They probably have, a weaker army than Persia, but I think they have a lot more going for them, especially when they have so much land in Africa and just around the rest of the world. Like, wow, they have all of South. honestly weren't doing the most amazing for a lot of the game. And now they're attacking Tlemcen as well. Yeah. Ethiopia, no, they're not an ally of anyone. Dulkadir is just going crazy. I honestly love Dulkadir. These guys are probably my favorite success story this entire game. I'm just surprised that neither Austria or Persia has gone after them, because they really don't seem to have the toughest allies. But I guess Persia had a lot more easy targets like Russia to pick off. I guess Yarkand is taking over this one little province. And looking at East Asia, we have whatever this nation is doing solid in China. I mean, they have a lot of Chinese land. Of course, Japan looking great. They took all of Russia at a point. And Lanfan, Australia, my favorite nation. Or Breton, Australia, or Gujarati, Australia. Yes, Gujarat. Like, I don't get how that happened, but, you know, honestly, shout out Gujarat. And Ethiopia getting picked apart by also, like, Ragusa. Like, I feel like normally in the regular game, they don't do well. And the fact that they've done so well, survived, I mean, they've kind of just been protected by Austria by being an ally their entire game. But still, I mean, the fact that they've survived this long and honestly been kind of a small success story has been pretty cool. Denmark, definitely a success story, but I think they kind of had probably pretty similar potential as Portugal, but Portugal really went hard with the potential, and Denmark, I feel like, kind of got slowed down a lot. Like, the Novgorod is now out of Russia. Like, this is embarrassing, bro. Russia is getting attacked by Sweden, and they're also getting attacked by Japan. Japan. Yeah, like, bro, Russia is tiny now. Russia is smaller than Perm. It's just so sad to see the destruction of Russia. I mean, it's actually kind of cathartic in a way, because I feel like Russia just destroys every other game. But, you know, still, it's sad to see that they fell so far from where they were. And Ragusa is kind of going crazy against Egypt, or Ethiopia right now, in Egypt. And I'm also kind of surprised how Genoa has lasted for so long with all these just random pieces of land. And really one strong ally in Tuscany, but I mean, Tuscany is not the greatest. It's also funny how Tuscany has an alliance with, what the hell? Do you see this? Mexico. Yeah, we got that part from the beginning. But I guess, yeah, technically they have this little piece as their home here. And are they attacking? Okay, so they're attacking against Portugal, which honestly, if they beat Portugal here, I think maybe Persia becomes the strongest nation in the world here. I don't know. But I think if they could just kick Portugal right here, I mean, Portugal, yeah, I don't know. It could be kind of tough for maybe not them to recover, because I'm sure Portugal has a lot of other land around the world. But it just would be, you know, kind of like the thing where the Americans beat the British and it was the start of the decline. This could be the start of the decline of the Portuguese Empire. We also have the Incans fighting against the French. This, like, that's just a crazy fight. And it looks like Mexico did beat Portugal, and they did take over a lot more land, and now Mexico is officially gone. So that kind of sucks. It's also funny because the Hamburg, is this just where Hamburg is? Oh, nah. So they are technically still alive over there. You also just have all these like weird Savoy. You have Vinland over here, the new papal state. It's also kind of crazy how well, and like kind of how much this matches real life, the French colonies in America are pretty solid when France I mean, I guess France is still solid in America as well, or in Europe as well. They are relatively big. They just, again, similar to like Denmark. But I guess Denmark at least lived up to its potential a lot. Like they're still, I guess, second in terms of strength, but they're fighting against Denmark, Hungary, and you know, they look good somewhat. It's kind of just a cluster, like it's just a weird area. Sad. This is just really, really, really sad. Wow, Japan honestly looks beautiful. I love you, Japan. Siam kind of getting choked out from both sides, like by these guys. And it's also just funny how India just kind of didn't change at all. Like Bahmanis, you had so much land to expand, and it's just Delhi, Gujarat, Malwa, you guys, kind of the main power brokers from the very beginning of the game. And no one really got a hold on the other ones. Persia, I still think, yeah, has to be the strongest nation. Low-key, I mean, they have 200,000 men. Austria, 300,000 men. Poland, more people. They also do have guys, whatever these guys are, as a puppet. So, I mean, that's pretty cool. Yeah, but look at this. The Portugal stretch way down to Kinshasa, if not further than Kinshasa. Like the fact that it goes from, you could, in this game, you could go in a continuous stretch from the Congo River up to the top of Spain is just insane. Kind of killing it this game. They have a lot of this area. And if they just took out Mali, they could have a sick empire, like in real life, if this was a thing. Like imagine you could go from like Mali all the way to the colonies in Brazil pretty easily. But yeah, as this game winds down, I think, again, Portugal looks to be in the top spot. Like it's pretty hard for anyone to dethrone them at this point. Denmark, maybe fifth. Persia definitely second. Austria looking like third. I like Poland and Denmark. That's really the decider. But I feel like Poland hasn't really done much. But I guess Denmark doesn't have anything in the Americas anymore. So I could see them being stronger. But I guess you also have these guys. And oh my God. Dulkadir versus Persia. Finally, bro. I was waiting on this for so long because I just knew that Dulkadir had to get taken out by someone. You also have a battle between Tlemcen and Genoa. And Genoa is somehow winning. Even though honestly, after this battle, it's probably pretty likely that Austria takes off the other pieces, chunks the rest of them out. Two Sicilies, though, is also... Oh, two Sicilies and... Okay. That makes a lot more sense. Oh, no. They're just fighting against both of them. But that still also makes more sense than I thought. Austria versus France war. Really just taken over all of Europe. And Orthodox also kind of got destroyed in its own way due to the major fall of Russia. It seems like a lot of stuff... I mean, I guess... Okay, some of this is Orthodox, some of this isn't. Oh my God, the Ottomans have been brought back. Wow. The end of the game, the Ottomans are brought back. That's just beautiful to see. And Dulkadir, the Ottomans attacked Dulkadir. But I feel like that'd be pretty unlikely. Honestly, what's pretty likely is that Austria just eats them right away. And surprisingly, they're not really winning that much. Kind of a long time to take out France. It's kind of sad to see. It's also just crazy how big Austria of Europe. And like, I mean, I guess a lot of it's like less developed land over here, but like, bro, their stuff goes all the way from the middle of Turkey to like Hanover. Like, this is still an extremely strong nation. Whoa, Denmark. Oh my God, Denmark and Sweden. What? Denmark, did they guarantee Russia or something? Oh my God, they guaranteed the independence of Russia. And Sweden said the idea to guarantee the independence of Russia. I think what's happening is the majority of Denmark's men aren't in situation this entire game because they had land over here, they had land over here, they had land over here, they had a ton of land in the New World right by me, and especially like Sweden, who honestly is pretty strong at this point and just took over a ton of Denmark's land. So beating Denmark, and Russia has been reduced to just 2 little scraps now. And technically they're still guaranteed by Denmark, fully killed by Persia taking over or something else. But with about 30 years left, I don't know, this was such an interesting game to see. Also did extremely well. But there were kind of some interesting underdog stories with Dolkadir and just like the whole, which is kind of cool. Oh, wait, I guess, how are they losing this badly? They don't seem to have that much territory that, they don't control their area that they want to. What are they even attacking? Motalones? Oh, Portugal trying to take over this. I think, honestly, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this. I think probably, I'd say now, if anyone's trying to take over Portugal, that would be the time to do it. But I think it'd be kind of hard for anyone to do that. I decided to survive in such weird places. Similarly to Genoa, they've just been in weird spots. And now Austria is going for Dolkadir. So he's in between a bunch of even stronger people. I mean, I guess there still is Dolkadiri, Arabia, Somalia. So Ajaran has done, I mean, just so interesting to see who kind of comes out on top. Austria looking beautiful. Yeah, attacked everyone. Just so stupid to me. Like, what are you doing, Denmark? You're just going to get destroyed by... I mean, I'll have to look in here, but honestly, I could see Denmark losing its capital right here at the end. And they had a great run. And yeah, I mean, they still will probably have this land in Britain. I feel like that's pretty hard to lose. Maybe Brabant could attack them. I feel like that's pretty unlikely, though. Maybe Utrecht. But Copenhagen, it could be a pretty bad ending to Denmark, who was honestly strong this entire game. It's just kind of sad that, like, oh, you have all these cool nations that were doing well. And it's like, oh, in the end, Austria here, where it's like, oh, they're the 12th strongest nation and the 15th strongest nation. And same thing with Persia. It's like they're always right on the edge. But when you take away the 10, crazy how that works. But yeah, it looks like it could be kind of GG's for Denmark. And coming up on the end of the game, it seems like everyone is wanting to take over a nice new piece of shiny land to end the game out. And I'm not going to look at the ledger until the very end of the game. I mean, you can see, you can really just look around at the world map and see who the strongest nations are, because they're a little bit bigger than everyone else. I think also Mexico has really become one of the strongest nations as well. Even these guys, Kilwa and Ajaran, or Somalia, maybe not, super powerful, but they look strong. Siam, I mean, these guys, again, I feel like they have been a solid, I think now maybe could pass Denmark, even though Denmark had an amazing game overall. And now we have a papal state, I think. Oh, 2 Sicilies attack of France and Austria at the same time. Rest in peace, brothers. These guys had, honestly, a pretty terrible game. So it doesn't really matter to me that they now are going and getting destroyed by everyone. It will be interesting to see if Brabant can get a piece of them. I don't know how likely that is, but it could be kind of cool. I don't know why 2 Sicilies even attacked them, but I also just forgot this nation has been a vassal of Austria's this entire game, and they haven't been annexed. They've just been this little thing. Also, just it's kind of funny that Tuscany, I feel like, has not changed their borders from the beginning of the game. They lost the land in Mexico, and they haven't really done anything else since then. But yeah, Papal State, honestly, they look really good. They did have a solid game, even though I feel like they were kind of low bro the entire game because they were just low bro to Austria. And I guess low bro to also Portugal, because they had the two like strongest allies in the game for a lot of the time. And it looks like France could be completely destroyed at the end of the game. So, I mean, shout out them. They did okay, but they definitely didn't really make the biggest impact on the game. But yeah. Is Russia fully gone? Okay. Only embarrassingly how bad they ended the game. They have 2 provinces right now. And it looks like they're 4. Never mind. They're still technically guaranteed by Denmark, which probably makes it hard for them to not survive to the end of the game, because there's only like Persia's going against Medina right now. I mean, it's kind of just surprising how well, the Timurids did and how they became pretty good over here. Yarkand is taking over the last little bit of land over there. So, yeah, all in all, I actually really love this game. This was just great time playing. Oh, also, Iceland somehow is surviving here. But as we're coming up on the last 15 years... It's honestly not looking good for France. They might be fully... Okay, they do survive. They do survive a little bit. Denmark, what are they? Okay, Denmark will survive to the end of the game. But it looks like they will survive. Poland also just somehow survived with just Sweden as an ally for a while. And then once they tagged up with Persia, like, look at this. It's disgusting. I mean, Persia is also another crazy stretch where it's like you would go from the Arctic Circle all the way down to the Strait. Is finally getting their last cleanup by Ragusa. And Tlemcen, similarly, is getting their last final cleanup. It does not look like they'll survive the entire game. I mean, maybe they'll have 1 speck of land. Also, yeah, Gelre, these guys had a piece of land in America, but I think they actually do have land still in Europe. Same thing with Brabant. I guess a lot of these guys that were out in the Americas with their little piece of land did survive in Europe as well. So, and actually, still some tribes are still here, but I guess they have converted to, of course, Christianity. And yeah, I guess also you still have I think by this time, 1808. Portuguese Empire probably would be a little bit waning, but I guess they do have land all the way to Portugal did in Africa. And I feel like normally you don't see Spain doing this well into Africa. You just mainly see them in the Americas doing extremely well, and genuinely didn't have anyone to compete against because no one tried to press up against them besides the Papal State. And they were allies with the Papal State and Persia and I guess Russia at the same time as well. Denmark, I may have spoke too soon for you guys. You guys are getting... It looks like they finally could be pushed out of Europe, but also just looks like Denmark having a sad ending. Sad ending for these guys. Genuinely, that's just because Austria took a long time to sacrifice Hungary, but still, the fact that Denmark ended up with a better score than Austria... It really reminds me of Spain in real life, where they just started to get destroyed right around the 1800s. And everything kind of just... Portugal has this one capped off. I would say right now, I mean, I probably should get the Great Powers thing going. And, oh, wait. Oh, Sweden... No, wait. Oh, Sweden is now protecting Russia, which is kind of fun. They were so strong for so long, and now they're getting eaten up by Utrecht, by Poland, by Sweden, this entire game. At the end, I just wish someone could just finish off Russia. But, you know, the fact that they do survive until the end, and yeah, just this is so sad to see, because I was actually rooting for Denmark in comparison to rooting. Denmark has lost the land in Britain. They're also losing all the land in Europe itself. Just honestly kind of sad to see, because they were, yeah, genuinely probably the 5th strongest nation here after these guys. Maybe. But yeah, just the fact that they're going out this sad, they're going out the Russia way, is just 5 years left. But as long as the Papal State is still alive, that's all that matters. Definitely are weaker than the Papal State to end the game. They're weaker than a lot of people. Utrecht, what do you guys do? Cool. France also going out sad. So a lot of nations that were kind of in our mouths the entire game, we're talking about them. France, Denmark, Russia, Dolkadir. I mean, Dolkadir is honestly still solid, but they're still getting kind of destroyed by a lot of other people. So it's not looking good, but I really don't remember the end date. But I'd say France, I mean, come on. These guys are basically dead. And now, oh my God. Oh, Denmark. Okay, that's it. That is so sad to see. Denmark, oh my God. Development. And honestly, I could see that, but I feel like Persia still probably could be, but Portugal is number 1. But I'd say right now you could say Austria number 1, Portugal number 1, or Persia number 1. Any of those 3, Austria. And then you got these guys, Delhi, the Papal State, Mexico, Korea, kill the top. When we look at religions, we did get a lot of Catholicism. I mean, they're not really like the full controllers. There still is a solid amount of Orthodox, but as time went on, it probably would be all Protestant, Catholic, and Shia. So Tuscany did get a lot of reformed, but it is just mostly Catholic. Looking down here, Sunni, you have these, as the game ends, Korea is looking like they're taking over Japan. But looking at some people that have done well, I mean, I think Ragusa, Dolkadir did solid as well. But I feel like, again, these nations do have, of course, Utrecht did amazing. You know what? Kind of disappointments, but they did survive through the end of the game. Denmark, I mean, great game, but same thing with Russia, but Russia had a lot more time to collapse. But overall, this was genuinely just